Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Goddess Enchantments channel. I am Claire if you are new here. I have been away for a few weeks now because it has been very busy. I've been getting all the Yule orders out from the website. I have been teaching an online live and interactive energy management course for a month, so that's all been very exciting and has now come to an end, so I can finally get back into some kind of routine with my YouTube. But in the meantime, if I'm never away from here, if there's a gap in videos or something, pop over and join my closed Facebook group. I do a ton of lives in there all the time. That's where all the updates are. I do videos about crystals and working with lunar energy when the full moon and the new moon comes up. So I will put the link in the drop down just underneath this video and you can pop over and join us. So today we are going to be talking about gemstone therapy for our pets. This is not just cats and dogs. This can include snakes and birds and even fish. There's pretty much no animal that you can't treat with gemstones. You just have to slightly adapt the type of gemstone you're going to use and the way you're going to use it. So obviously, first things first, it is really important if your pet is unwell to go to the vets. I think this is common sense for 99% of people, but it is important for me to say that this is not a replacement for when they actually do need veterinary treatment. We have a very good relationship with our vet. She is known as Auntie Sandra in our house. We love her. We see her every 3 months because one of our furry friends has a condition that needs monitoring, and we have seen her for years. So she is like family, you know what I mean? Build a good relationship with your vet and you will have such an easier time in life if you are a animal owner. Although I don't really think I own my cats or rabbits. I think they would disagree with that and say they own us, which is probably more true. However, just like us, when we have to go to the doctors or we may have a condition that needs medication, you can work at home yourself holistically to add in more healing methods to help yourself align with that healing energy stream and to bring things, some relaxation maybe, to soothe symptoms. There's so many ways that crystals can help us and our pets. So the first thing to really think about before you even try to embark on crystal therapy with your pets is to figure out what is going to be an absolute no-go in your home with your particular animal. And this is unique for everyone. You do not want your animal swallowing or chewing on gemstones. I have heard of many stories of dogs chewing on crystals, swallowing a tumblestone. You don't want to have that happen. I know someone who thought it would be a good idea to give their snake crystal therapy by putting a gemstone egg in there, and the snake swallowed the egg, and that was an emergency situation. So you have to think in the same way that you would with very young children, that pets will chew things, pets will try and swallow things because they think it's some kind of treat. So we have to work around that. So before you go out and buy a ton of tumblestones, actually think if tumblestones is what's going to work for you and your animal. So some ways I like to work with crystals for pets is to give them crystal infused water. Now again, this is really important. If you are planning to use the direct method, there are many crystals that should not be placed into water. So if you're going to be on the safe side, same with humans, go with quartz and make sure there's no inclusions, make sure there's no cracks, there's no matrix left on, and then you can use a direct method. But my preferred method is to use an indirect method and charge up a big glass bottle of water or a big glass jug of water that I can use for their bowl. If your animal has a fountain, then you could put crystals around that. Again, being mindful if you have the type of animal that's going to chew or swallow these crystals. That is where the biggest risk comes in with direct method and contact between your stones and your pet. So you want to be careful there. You can easily charge up water in a jug, charge up, like I say, a big glass bottle and give that to your pet. If you have one of those cat fountains that has a divider so the water comes up and comes out a little spurter and there's a big tub at the bottom, you can actually put the crystals in there if you're doing direct and it is quartz and you are 1000% sure that A, it is safe to go in water, and B, that your pet cannot get to it. So really think that through. The other way that I really like to work with gemstones is my cats will actually lay down and allow me to give a treatment to them. Now, if your pet is not willing, mine come very willingly. They're very used to it. They will actually come in the room when I get crystal boxes out, lay down. I can place crystals around them and grid them. And then they will just lay there while I'm doing other stuff until they're done. And then they'll leave and then I'll cleanse and put away the gemstones. If your pet doesn't do that, which a lot of pets won't, what you can do is wait until they're having a nap in their basket or on a blanket or the sofa, wherever they are, and then you just go over while they're asleep and just place a few crystals around them while they're laying there that you have chosen specifically for whatever reason it may be, and that you have cleansed, charged and programmed. That way they don't really know what's going on. They're not that bothered. A lot of the times they do find it very soothing and will just stay there. And then they will either move or you can go back later and pick up those crystals. Now, again, coming back to the choking and etc., if you're going to do that, you want to use large crystals that cannot be swallowed if that's an issue that you're going to have with your type of pet. My cats do not chew things. My cats do not. Well, they're very, very fussy. They like their food and that's it. They don't even like a treat or anything. So I never have to worry that they're going to eat anything. The most they may do is play with the crystal and tap it around a bit, which for me is not a non-issue. You know, I'm not bothered. But a lot of animals are not like that. You know your pet. Now, if that for you is not attainable because you're like, okay, I own a Labrador, and let's face it, a Labrador will eat anything on the face of this planet. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be wood, it could be a piece of brick. Most Labradors will put it in their mouth and try and swallow it. So if you have a pet like that and you still want to give them that treatment, then you can actually give them what is a hands-on treatment. So for that, you would get either a palm stone. You can get small ones like this. You can get, I don't think I have any chunkier ones in reach. Chunkier ones, you don't want anything sharp. So palm stones are really, really good for this. I also use these hearts as well. You could use something like that. And basically what you would do is go over to your pet and simply brush it along them. Now, a lot of the times you can actually trick your pet into not noticing you have anything in your hand if you're using a palm stone, because you can put it in your hand and you can just stroke them as if you're giving them a stroke with the gemstone there, and they won't notice. But energetically, you'll find that they'll soften and relax into it and often lay down, because animals do really like the energy of gemstones. Sound healing and things like that, they can be a lot more fussy about. For example, Tibetan singing bowls are not a cat's best friend. Most cats will not like them because of the pitch and they will leave. However, my cats absolutely love crystal singing bowls. So as soon as I get my bowl out, they are very happy to come in here and lay down. I can grid them with crystals, I can play my singing bowl, and you can incorporate that into your treatment as well. But by using palm stones, it's a really simple way to just give them a stroke for 5 minutes and know that you are giving them the healing treatment of whatever gemstone you have, and you have programmed it for what you need it to do. This is really important when working with our pets, the same as when working with ourselves. If I have a pet that has injured its leg and is having some pain, then I would take a bloodstone, for example, and program that to relieve pain. Bloodstone is very good for working with animals because it is an excellent pain reliever, but it also has a really good soothing energy. So you can go over and you can stroke them. This is already programmed by you to relieve physical pain in your pet, and you are giving them a treatment without having to leave them alone with any crystals and without having to worry they're going to whip around, grab a crystal and swallow it. So it's a really safe way to work with gemstones and your pet. So that's another one that I like. The other thing you can do is use crystal wands. If you're someone who's reasonably experienced with gemstones, if you also practice Reiki, for example, as well, you can use wands to direct energy and soften energy and help pain simply by sweeping a wand through your pet's aura and through directing the energy into a specific area. So if you are dealing with a broken bone that's trying to heal, even through a cast, if you are dealing with an area of soreness, you can use a wand and you can direct this energy. If you want to work with the kidneys, it's a really good way to direct. If you use a wand that has a flat base, like a massage type wand, then you can massage your pet with the wand, and a lot of animals really love that, particularly cats and dogs. So that's another way to do it. Now, if you're like, okay, my animal's still not going to be particularly happy about me doing that, maybe you have a cat that's not particularly friendly, doesn't like to be cuddled, isn't great on stroking except for on its terms, but it has some kind of health problem. What you can do is take tumblestones and you can actually put them in their bed. So many cat and dog beds, even some of the rabbit beds for if you have indoor rabbits or stuff like that, they have a zipper so you can take off the cover and you can wash the cover of that bed. It's well worth investing in one of those if you don't have one. One, because they're super easy, and two, if you want to work with gemstones, if you get a bed that your animal really likes, then you can put these in the slip cover, zip it up, and know that they can have no contact with these crystals, but every time they get in that bed, they are having a treatment. If your animal likes to lay on a specific blanket, if you don't mind doing a little bit of sewing, you can actually sew a pouch into it that you can put crystals in and out. So again, you're keeping your crystals contained and not in any direct contact with your pet that they could eat it. A lot of fish, what do you call fish places? Not fish suppliers, but fish pet care shops and the areas in the shop these days, for decorative purposes, actually have chunks of quartz and rose quartz and water-friendly gemstones that you can decorate your tank with. So even if you have fish, a lot of the time you can find it at aquarium places. Yes, it's coming to me. And you can put those in with fish. In with birds, you can pop things in and find ways of disguising them and making sure that obviously you don't want them pecking at it and hurting their beak. You can put them around the outside of cages, which is really important. If you have hamsters or rats or mice or birds, they don't have to be in the cage. You can technically grid the outside of the cage to give them a crystal treatment. And if it's a wellness thing where you just want to keep them healthy and well, you can leave those grids up. If your pet is unwell, then you can do a specific grid for that. You can leave it up an hour, you can leave it up a couple of days, and then take it down. So there's many ways of non-contact crystal treatments that you can do at home. Now, crystals that are specifically geared towards pets. People often ask me this, are there crystals that I shouldn't use with my animal? You know, are there ones that are better for animals than not? The obvious answer is never use a toxic crystal anywhere around your pet. It really is as simple as that, because if an accident did happen, the last thing you want is for them to chomp down on some malachite or some azurite or some chrysocolla or cinnabar or something awful that's going to make them very sick. So keep those things away from your animals regardless. That's just common sense, even when you're working with them yourself. Then you can pretty much use any gemstones you want. But what I found, just simply through experience and working with clients on this sort of thing over the years and putting together sets and stuff like that for people that need specific things, is that animals tend to respond better to gentler gemstones. They're not necessarily a huge fan of sitting next to a big hunk of hematite, for example, because our animals don't need the same kind of grounding we do. So a harsh, what to them is a harsh vibration like that, is not something that's going to be peaceful, that they're going to want to rest next to. So some crystals I really like are Bloodstone, as I previously mentioned. It's really good for any kind of pain relief. It's really good for circulation, for kidneys and for liver, and for detoxifying and purifying the body, which again comes into liver and kidney issues. So Bloodstone is a really great one for that, and it has that energy that animals tend to like. Another one is Red Jasper. Red Jasper is a nurturer gemstone. It's very soothing to all of the body systems, and it is an all-round healer and good health gemstone. So it's nice and gentle for them to have around. It's not too grounding, but it gives them that little bit of connection to earth. And if you have an animal that has anxiety or is stressed a lot, then Red Jasper is a great gemstone to work with. Another really good one for anxious pets, stressed out pets, pets that have separation anxiety, would be blue lace agate. It is a really wonderful, soothing gemstone. My cats absolutely love it. It's just one of the favorites I've found, in particular for working with cats, but I found dogs love it, rabbits. If you're using crystals with rabbits, they are big on gnawing and you do not want a broken tooth. So I would recommend never leaving gemstones alone with rabbits. To give them a treatment, you would want to be there with them and doing that treatment yourself with a crystal wand, with a crystal palm stone. You can make indirect crystal water indoors, like yourself, and then give it to them in their water bowl, but no leaving crystals in their environment. They could get a broken tooth. So indirect is definitely my preferred method for people to use, especially if you're not very experienced yet in doing this kind of work. Next, rose quartz. Rose quartz is a really good one for helping your pet to remain healthy. It's one that if they're not sick, this is a great gemstone to keep around them and to give them little treatments with, just so that it soothes all their system, it keeps them in good health. If they are unwell, this is a really good gemstone to help them feel comforted and loved through getting better. So rose quartz is a really good one. Then you have your fluorites. Fluorite is fabulous for infections. Now, if your pet gets any kind of infection, be it a cut that gets infected, like a sinus infection, if you have an animal that has any kind of virus going on, then fluorite would be the gemstone that you would want to work with them with. It's very, very good for infections. I've used it with my animals with great success. So this would be one I would recommend for that. So they're the main kind of, if you had those few crystals, you could cover most things with your animal. Now, people often ask me about clear quartz, particularly as a crystal to keep your animal well, because it is a very high vibration master healer gemstone. If you want to use clear quartz water with your animals, I would recommend introducing it very slowly because it is very high vibration. If you are giving them something they are taking internally, then you want to introduce them to that crystal energy very slowly, see how they react to it. A lot of animals prefer indirect crystal charged water. And a lot of animals prefer fountains, for example, as well, because it's that purity to it, and crystals give it a much purer, higher vibration. So many will kind of resonate towards it anyway. But start small with literally, you can make just a mug of it and add a few drops to their water bowl and watch them. Are they now avoiding that water bowl? Have they not drunk as much as they normally would? Or are they going over there more? Are they going over there the same? And then you can judge. This is the same with any kind of crystal water that you're using. You can judge how they're feeling about it. It's another one of the reasons, regardless of the choking hazards, that I don't recommend the direct method of putting tumble stones in your cat's bowl or your dog's bowl, whatever animal you've got's water bowl or fountain, because they cannot get away from it. And if they don't want that kind of crystal water, if they don't need that medicine and that vibration, they will avoid their water bowl, and then you come into other problems of them becoming dehydrated. And our whole aim here is to support their health and healing. It's not to put them in a position of you should love crystals as much as I do, because some animals do not like crystals, some animals do not like certain crystals. So it is some level of experimentation on your part. Some people do like to get the little, now you can buy them and they're actually designed for pets, little gemstone charms, if you like, that go onto dog and cat collars. So you can get them, but again, make sure they can't get at it, and also make sure that you are noticing, are they liking their collar less and trying to take it off, or any kind of signs that would tell you as a pet owner that maybe they don't like it as much as you hoped that they did. It's very important to be aware of your animal when working with crystals, to find crystals they like, to find crystals suitable for them, and to find the method that works for you and your pet, whatever that pet may be. So I think that's covered pretty much the main ways that you can work with your animal and crystal therapy. It is a really wonderful thing to do, and the more they get used to it, the more that you'll find they'll come towards it, rather than it being, what is she doing placing crystals around me? When I first started giving my cats crystal treatments, I would literally wait till they were asleep, then sneak up and put a tumble stone or just 2 tumble stones near them to see what their reaction was. Did they wake up and move away from them? Did they seem to sleep and stay there a lot longer and not get up when I've called them for something? And I would always keep an eye on them to make sure what their reaction's going to be and that they're not playing with anything. I never have and never will leave my cats unsupervised with tumble stones, even though I know they are not going to swallow them. I don't want the stress of them playing with one, it disappearing, and me wondering if they've swallowed it. It's just, for me, not a responsible thing to do. So if I want to leave them with a crystal, I either put it in their bed like I suggested. I have some blankets with sewn pockets in. Sometimes I put it under the cushion seat on the sofa or the chairs that I know they're going to sit on. Or I use very large pieces. I have a fluorite wand about that big, which obviously they can't do anything with, and it would be heavy for them to even shift. And I will lay that against their back while they're laying down if they're not well and they need a little treatment, and I can leave them to that. Whereas a dog, I would have to think maybe differently about that. So it's all about your circumstances and your situation and what's going to work for you. But for me and my cats, if they're going to be left alone, I use large pieces that there's just no way they could even pick up, let alone put in their mouth. I'm getting a bit croaky. So yes, I think that's everything. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. That's it from me. I'm not sure if this video will be up before or after my oracle and tarot card reviews I have coming, but I have quite a few videos coming for you. So stay tuned, subscribe, hit the bell, thumbs up, all those wonderful things. Come join us in the Facebook group. I will also put the website address down below for you. And that's it. So have a wonderful rest of your day. If you use crystals with your pets in any way, do share that in the comments. It's great for everyone to share how they're using crystals and everyone can learn from each other. That's it from me. Bless her be.